Watch this clip. Now watch the same clip again. In the first clip, everything's normal, but in the second clip, you just know something's about to go down. Now, this phrase, go down, this is a really great, fantastic native phrase that means to happen. So if you want to ask, especially when there's a problem or you heard some news about maybe something bad happened, you can say, what went down? So what went down, or you can talk about something is about to go down, like, oh no, a fight is about to go down over there, or something is about to happen. To go down. Something's about to go down. Something's about to go down. Something's about to go down. The reason I was using that clip with the two different kinds of music, and if you didn't know already, the first one is just some random happy music, and the second one is the opening theme for the TV show The Walking Dead. So if you were actually watching that was actually a Walking Dead episode, you would probably about to see some zombies or something go down. Anyway, the reason I was showing both of those clips, or one clip in different ways, is to prove to you that when you're seeing something, you're looking at the different elements that make that thing, and then you're making a complete picture of understanding. And this is exactly how children learn languages. They're really taking the complete view and then learning about the pieces and the rules of it in school after that. And that's exactly how you should be learning too. So we'll be talking about learning like a child in this video, but first, I've been seeing a lot of YouTube creators lately that are getting sponsors, and I want a sponsor too. I think having a sponsor would be a lot of fun. And being sponsored means that people or companies are paying you to promote their stuff because they think that maybe if you say something good about it, then your watchers or viewers or listeners or, whatever will want to purchase that thing. Well, I want a cool sponsor too, so I went out and got one. This video is sponsored by paper. Paper is awesome, and I've used paper all my life to record my memories, to make things. Paper has been good to me, and I trust paper. I promise that if you give paper a try, I'm sure you'll love paper too. So how am I making money with this new sponsorship? I haven't really worked that part out yet. Now, to work something out means to figure out or to solve something. So if I have a difficult math problem, then I'm trying to work out the solution, or I'm trying to figure out a way of doing that. We use work out and figure out when we're talking about finding a solution, and this is the conversational way of saying that. To figure something out or to work something out. I haven't really worked that part out yet. But I'm sure I'll think of something. All joking aside, I'm bringing up sponsorship because it's a big part of life and a big part of our vocabulary. It's also something we learn about as kids before we even know we're learning anything. Watch any kids' TV show, or pretty much any show, and you'll see something like brought to you by. Brought to you by.
This portion of Star Trek is brought to you by RCA Victor.
The Andy Griffith Show was brought to you by Toast Cereal.
Sesame Street was brought to you today by the letter P. Oh, and by the number 2.
Now, this complete phrase, brought to you by, just means this show was brought to you by these certain sponsors. So instead of saying, these companies paid money to show you this TV show or to pay for this TV show, it was brought to you by. Brought to you by. Now, Sesame Street is joking a little bit when they're talking about a show being brought to you by a particular letter or number, but really they're kind of teaching you about the actual vocabulary of everyday life and a little bit of consumerism at the same time. And you're also learning about sponsorships from a very early age. Again, this is something you hear even before you understand what it means. Brought to you by. Brought to you by. So you learn it as a child and remember it as one complete phrase even before you understand what the individual pieces mean. Now, what this shows us is that you learn the whole thing as a child and then start breaking the pieces down or looking at the individual words and grammar after that. And interestingly enough, this is one of the first phrases I learned naturally like a child here in Japan. この放送はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。And this is just Japanese for this broadcast is brought to you by these sponsors. And this phrase became kind of a joke for me here in Japan. And I love the sound of Japanese, and I would take this phrase, and even though I didn't know what the grammar meant, I would put different words in there and try to experiment with making different phrases and talking about this is sponsored by that. And this is something I learned when I first came to Japan, and I was just learning it as a complete phrase by hearing it over and over again on TV, before I understood what any of the grammar or individual words meant. But I understood the whole idea by the context of what the phrase was saying. And this is how kids learn. So they learn in the same way. They're hearing things, they're hearing all this information, and the things that they hear over and over again, those are the things that they remember. And only later do they go back and start, putting information together and figuring out how things work. After these messages is another of those phrases that I also learned as a kid and that many kids all over America know as well.
Thundercats will be back after these messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
These messages refers to the commercial messages in the commercial break in a television or radio program. So when people hear after these messages, it just means we'll be right back after these commercial, messages or break. And all of these things, not only are they things that you learn as a complete phrase and then after that start understanding what they mean, because again, you're learning from context when you're learning the language, because a kid, like a young child, can't take a different language and translate in order to learn it. They have to learn everything from context. And that's why you should make things as simple as possible when you're teaching children or even people learning in a different language. Anyway, the whole point of making this video is to remind you that you are better than kids about learning. So you don't have to just sit and listen to what other people are telling you and to depend on other people that maybe don't know how to make the language as simple as possible. But what you really should be doing is thinking like kids do in the way that they learn. So taking the context of something plus the whole phrase or the whole sentence or the whole story, whatever that thing is, and then connecting those two. Trying to understand what everything means, even if you don't understand what individual words mean. So focus on the much bigger picture, and it's going to help you get fluent much more quickly. Think of it like learning backwards, from the big picture to the individual parts like vocabulary and grammar. Well, that's the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed it and have learned something from it. If you did, please like the video. Please share it with 3 people that you know and love and respect and, think they would also enjoy it. And do subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber already. And of course, be sure to buy lots and lots of paper. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. To continue learning, click on the link in this video to download Speak English Naturally, our free guide to speaking and sounding like a native English speaker. The guide reveals the 3 most important kinds of conversational English you must learn if you want to sound native, and will help you experience instant improvement in your fluency and speaking confidence. To download your free guide on a mobile device, click on the link in the upper right of this video. To download your free guide from a computer, click on the link in the lower right of this video. I look forward to seeing you in the guide.